Hey guys, this is Introducing Emmy, and we're back with another Redline Tuesday. This one was sent to us by Rachel, and I don't have a link or any other information, so Rachel, there you go. And the character is Trevor from Pokemon X and Y. So if any of you are familiar with that game, that's where he's from. So let's get started. Now, I got a ref, okay? And I don't normally do this, but I want a ref. Because I want to try to move Rachel's drawing of Trevor a little closer to what the original one was, but I'm not going to copy. I'm just doing I'm just referencing. Yeah, perfect. It's a reference. I'm referencing. Also, I couldn't remember what this device looked like and some of his clothing choices, so I wanted to see how close it was and all that. So just keep that in mind. I'm actually going to make him a little lighter so he's not so distracting. And we'll get started. So first things first, let's sort of lay down some landmarks here. He got a big head. I should mention, I don't know if she wanted me to say this or not, but I'm saying it. This was drawn on her iPad. So I think we're supposed to kind of keep that in mind. Yeah, I'll take that out. But I'm going to put a little mark there for the hair split's going to go. So first things first, let's move the neck back just a little bit. Just make it a teeny bit thicker because I think it ends right there and we want it to end out a little more where we can actually see it going back under the back of the skull a little more. So we don't want it to end here. We want it to be more like this. So it rests nicely on the back of the skull there. There's the collarbones. Let's find our center. That'll be like our belly button. And there's my husband flushing the toilet in the background. Nice. I actually should move this over a little more. Okay, sorry about that. My husband came in real quick. And let's draw our knees. Okie dokie. feel like this should be moved, this little thigh gap thingy should be moved over just a little bit more, just so his body's turned to match his head a little bit. Okay, so yeah, and now I'm going to not get rid of that color. I need to do the dreaded rotation. I am building up his legs a teeny tiny bit than I normally would, just because there's not a lot of leg there to begin with. I'm also lengthening the length of the hands to kind of end a little more like mid-thigh. Just they're a little short, especially when compared to the length of this arm. And then the elbow is going to be right about there. Okay. So let's actually bring the shirt up so that it ends more like where his does, sort of not quite the waist, but not quite all the way to the groin. It's sort of middle there. Okay. And then he's got pockets. And he's also got a seam down the inside of his pants, but you can't really see it from here, so like, or see it on this character, I should say, so we'll just let that be. Let's also flare his collar out a little more like it is in the reference for fun, you know? I insist that if I ever see a Trevor cosplay, I want this much popped collarness. I want so much flaring. Okay. Let's do our sleeves. I'm actually going to drop that elbow a tiny bit. Also, if it seems like I'm kind of going fast or my voice sounds super jittery, it's because I've had like a million cups of coffee today, so whoopsie. And I do like this kind of casual wrinkle thing you got going on here. I don't know what a casual wrinkle is now that I'm thinking of it. I guess like his shirt isn't perfectly ironed or what have you. Okay, there we go. So looking good. Okay, so now I'm gonna do sort of like another layer here, and that is going to be sort of the hair and the 3D objects, maybe the backpack too, that sort of stuff. Let's go with a blue. Okay. So was this thing like his Pokedex? I can't remember. I have played X and Y. I have X, so. But I don't remember. So I've sort of recentered where the strap is going to go on his body. I've just moved it over slightly because it's too far to the right. So it almost looks like it's sort of like going into his stomach a little bit, like it's curving under, where it would be hanging more like out. So what I did is I put these two little marks here, which is where the strap is going to emanate from behind his neck, and then I put the little knot that goes on the device, the Pokedex or whatever it is. So then we just sketch in our lines. Rotate this way so it's just a little easier on me. I like to put a little shadow just to show that it's like coming from underneath his collar there. Nothing fancy. Okay, so I thought it would be fun to show you guys how to do a 3D object. So we've got this little device thing here, and it's kind of, and when I say a 3D object, I mean sort of like, you know, like when you were a kid and you used to draw like cubes, kind of like this, something like that. I don't know how you crazy kids do these things anymore, but so I'm going to teach you sort of like a trick like that to draw any object. So that's our strap layer. I'll mark it as such, and let's just pick a purple or something so you know, yeah, there we go, blam. Okay, so this little object here, first we're going to draw just one side of this object. Now this trick obviously works better in Photoshop, which is what I'm teaching you to draw it in. Also remember to do straight lines by holding down Shift. And in fact, I think a lot of drawing programs, that's how you do. So remember, we're going to just draw one side. Except for right there, it's just easier for me to do a full circle. And then we're going to do like this inner gray part, which I've actually already messed up because that should go lower, huh? Okay, and then this is like that little thing, whatever that is. Whatever these things are, that's what we're doing. Okay, so now we've drawn one side. So now we're going to duplicate this layer. We're going to hit Control T and put a negative in front of the W and flip it. And then we'll just bring it in. And then hit Control E to collapse it all down into one layer. And I'm actually gonna make it a little longer, and I'm gonna go to Edit, Transform, Perspective, and just make it a little narrow at the top, fatter at the bottom. I think that's more of like what the device is like. I might be exaggerating it a little bit, but anyway, that's okay. So then, let's just get rid of some of these little extra lines jutting out. I should mention that this is, you know, a technique on sketching. This is not how you would want to necessarily finish it. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to move it into place. I just realized I kind of did it upside down, but that's okay. We're going to move it into place. We're going to kind of put it at the angle that it would be laying, maybe something like that. And then we're going to hit Control while we have these little not crosshairs, but this frame pulled up, and we're going to kind of like warp this into perspective a little more. Got like that. We're also going to make it smaller. Maybe like that. Like a PDA. Okay. So here's where the 3D stuff comes in. So I've duplicated the layer, and then I'm just going to wiggle it slightly to the right using the arrow keys, and then down a little bit. Then I'm gonna go to my original, which is a little hard to see, and select the outside. Then go back to the duplicated layer and hit Control-Shift-I and delete all that inner junk. And then hit Control-E to collapse the two layers together. And not all you have to do is just kind of like round this off a little bit. See how like, let me go way in. See how these two don't really meet? You want to like straighten this out so it looks like one solid piece. I should have probably made this drawing a little bigger before I started working on it. I wasn't thinking, I just kind of went in. Just dove right in. There we go. So I realize this object's a little more rounded, like it kind of bevels around and around. That can be achieved by like how you finish it later, but for now I think, you know, that's a good mock-up of what this object is. So alright, I'm going to actually collapse it down onto that layer there, and I'm going to do his hair now. Now the hair I'm not going to go like wild on. I'm not going to be changing it a whole bunch, just a few little tips. So my biggest tip is he's got these like this swooshy hair that is all coming from this point. I would say give it a little more of like a twist as it comes around. Hair tends to grow in spiral shapes. And I would scrap the these little tendrils up here that are sort of coming from the back of the head and over these ones that are sort of going like that. There's one there and one there. I would say just, you know, get it. But I like this. In fact, I would leave this empty in here because I think in the original it's colored. Yeah, I would say make that white in there. And try to make all these wispy bits reflective of this side and vice versa, so this side reflective of that. So yeah, because he's got kind of like these cute side pieces that kind of come up like this. I would totally exaggerate these more, by the way, just because they're adorable. He's adorable. So I would say maybe stick to like 1 or 2 wispy bits on this side so that when you come over here, the wispy bits don't get out of control. And the face is fine. I don't have any problems with the face. Lovely eyes. I love when people do this thing where they kind of like outline the entire eye all in one color. I think that's cool. I'm just going to put a little shadow under the neck because I do. And I also notice you have a little bit of the ear peeking through over here. I don't think you have to worry about that or do that. He doesn't have that. He could have big old like rabbit ears under there for all we know, so don't even worry about that. Oh, but in making this side reflective of this side, don't make them exactly the same. Like, don't make them symmetrical. I'm just saying, like, don't have so like, let's turn the character around here. So like, let's say this is the back of his head, okay, and here's like his wispiness, and then like his shoulders, like that, and his cool collar and his backpack. Okay, so anyway, so what I'm trying to say is like this back part of his hair is all one piece. So like all that is one piece that's going around the back of his head, okay? So you don't want to have one side that's like and then one side that's just like swoop, because it comes off a little strange. It is a preference thing. I mean, at the end of the day, this is all preference, but I think it makes it look more balanced. Same here. Okie dokie schmoky. So let's do the backpack and then call this done. So make sure the backpack strap is following the contour of his shoulder and that it is all pinched into the little palmy of his hand. And I'm actually going to I think I'm shortening the strap just a little bit here. Because his, no, I guess his does go pretty far down though. Oops. Let me roll it then. This hand needs to be changed, I realized. Okay, and then Just do a little thing for the backpack there. It's not really all that complicated anyway. Put a little seam there. Part of the reason I'm going a little fast, actually, I've been working for about 25 minutes. It's not too bad. That's like my normal time. I felt like I was going a little fast there at the beginning. My only reason is because I'm gonna be going away in a few days, back to Pennsylvania's, and to see my family. And I'm gonna reward myself getting all my work done and getting to go back to Pennsylvania with some Minecraft, because I don't get to play it that often. I feel like I shouldn't be allowed to play games. My life should always be work. There's always something to do tomorrow. Okay, so the biggest reason that I have to change the hand is because he's not really holding the backpack. Sad to say. And I kind of buzzed through the hand without thinking. In the original, he kind of is, but I've changed it a teeny bit, so. Oh man, I think I'm messing it up more and more. Okay, there. So I've tried to like rotate the fingers down more to actually like be holding on to the bag. So now the fingers are wrapping this way as opposed to kind of like at an up angle like these ones were. And they were sort of missing the strap in my corrections. So yeah, something like that. Oh, same dealie over here, by the way. You need to have the yeah, I'm using a different color, what of it. I'm the boss. Just make sure you're showing the strap like really. Going down the length of the body here. And then let's step back because I think that's pretty much us for today. Turn the ref off. Put those two layers together. I'm actually going to get rid of that so I can see the face. How's that? I think that looks pretty good. Oops, go away, ref. You know, this is pretty good to begin with. So all I really did was just sort of tighten up a few little areas. I think also his clothing looks a little more deliberate. Oh, this ref, I tell you what, it keeps popping up. Yeah, I'd say like, I love it. Let's go with this. We're doing it. That'll be our red line for this week. As always, keep sending Redline Tuesdays in to emy.bitner at IntroducingEmy.com. It's on my YouTube banner, and it's probably going to be in the description. If not this video, then the last. It's usually in one of the descriptions. It's around. It's easy to find my email. So if you have a drawing you want me to redline or anything like that for you, just send it to emy.bitner at IntroducingEmy.com with the subject Redline or Redline Tuesday or Correct My Anatomy or I don't know, fudgicles or I don't know, whatever. Just send it in. Alright, I'll see you guys later. Bye!